Good morning. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt really stuck and just weren't able to figure out how to move forward, whether it be something in your life or something in your business? Now, I'm not talking about actually physically being stuck because I know that we're all in our houses right now and we're actually at home feeling a little bit stuck, maybe, but being safe. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actually being stuck, being able to notice that there is something in your life or something in your business that you just can't move forward from and move past. If that's ever happened to you, you're not alone. I've been in that same situation before, and I want to share with you Sue Crum. Take my glasses off. Sue Crum is a transformational coach and a high performance coach, and her mission is to get women past that point of stuckness and give them the support to be able to move forward and not have to have feeling that stuck feeling anymore and get into the life that they really desire and that they really imagine. So I'm really excited to have her here today to share her success stories and some tips for you to be able to move move past things in your own life so you can kind of take something away from today. I also have her daughter, Mindy Hall. She is a representative with Touchstone by Swarovski Crystals. And I thought that that was really timely for her to also be on the show because I love them too so dearly, but also because those the jewelry that she sells, that I know that Sue is wearing today also, is a great idea for a Mother's Day gift. Mother's Day is May 12th. It's right around the corner. So I hope that you will check that out and just enjoy the time that you have with here today with Sue and I, so we can really get past those stuck feelings and learn some tips to be able to do that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Sue on with me. Yay. There she is.
Hi, Amy.
Hello. I'm just working through my tech stuff here. Sorry about that.
There.
Oh, here we go. Yay. There we are.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So I'm so excited for you to be here today.
Thank
So
you.
do a little bit of a expansive introduction on yourself. I know you've got a long list of
Sure.
accomplishments and background. We'd love to hear it.
Oh, great. Thanks so much. Well, I do lead women out of stuckness and into success and solutions. And I've been doing this kind of work probably for the last decade and a half. I had a whole different career prior to all of that. But in this world, I've really enjoyed working primarily with women because I find women have gotten themselves stuck, whether it's in the wrong relationship, the wrong career, the wrong home, the wrong job. And my job is to lead them out of that because I just think women have so many talents that have been dormant. For some women, they've had them on the back burner and maybe they never even made those talents onto the stove. They've been helping others, putting themselves last and not investing in themselves. And so I really enjoy my work with women in particular.
Definitely. I definitely agree with you. There is, I think as women, especially as mothers, we have all these responsibilities and things that we want to do to take care of everyone else. And then when it
Right.
comes down to like what we want out of life, a lot of times that we're caretakers, we want to do everything else. So taking that, having someone look kind of in our blind spot and be able to say, okay, this is what you should do, or, really go after your goals. I think that that's so awesome. I just wanted to mention that you had a fan club before
Ah,
live show even started with
hi, Angie.
Angela.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She's happy to see she has attended several of your workshops and your book because you have a couple of books.
Yes, I do.
So that is amazing. So I can't wait to hear from you and hear your awesome stories and learn how you can help us and
Sure.
kind of guide through that stuckness. So why don't you go ahead and share with us your first story?
Well, I had a client that just recently completed a 12-week program with me, and she had first found me, I'm going to say probably 3 or 4 years ago, and we had a conversation. And at that time, Nan was kind of going through a messy separation, which was leading to a divorce. And
Mm.
she was really stuck and not leading the life that she wanted at the time. And it just didn't work out that we worked together at that time. She was really looking at finances, looking at her whole life had turned upside down. And yet we stayed connected through my email list. And then this past, I would say a couple months back, she reached out to me, and the timing for her was perfect in that the divorce was final. She was working to up-level her own business, and she was just feeling like she could really use some coaching and some leadership to get her over those hurdles, because she could just almost taste what the new business could be, but she was struggling to not have enough guidance to get her through there. And she was also working on the coordination of children going back and forth, to two houses and all of that. So we had a fantastic time together in our 12-week journey together. And I must say, she's enjoying her up-leveled life. Her business is thriving, and she's just really, going to take off this year. She's just going to do awesome. I know that.
Oh, that's such a great story. Can
Yeah.
you share with us, like, one of the things that you think really helped her move forward past this? I know I'm sure you help her with a lot of different aspects of like mindset and just like,
Right.
logistical things, however it is. What was like maybe
Right.
one thing you could share with us that we could take away that would really help us understand how she was able to move past it?
Well, the program that she was in had both a group coaching and a one-on-one coaching experience to it. And what she shared with me when we did a video testimonial at the end of the program was that the one-on-one time together really helped her unlock things where she was really stuck. And it gave her a better lens to look at some of her challenges. We dug deeply into where the time went, because as I always say to my clients, we get 168 hours in a week. We all get the same amount. It's nothing we can save up and say, well, I know next week's going to be bad, so I'm going to save up 10 hours from this week and put it in the next week. See, it doesn't work that way.
No.
So I would say that really helping her get a handle on that was crucial to her success. And it gave her a new insight into being an up-leveled businesswoman as well as parent.
Yeah, that's a lot to balance for sure. And time is a huge aspect of that, being able to manage time and all that kind of thing. Do you have any tips for us on how we can, manage our time better? Like, what do you suggest when it comes down to being more productive with our time?
Well, I think people have to analyze it. Where is their time going? And if you've never done a time log, it's a big aha experience where you kind of just keep a chart of what you've done throughout the day, maybe by hour, and see if you can get 3 days in a row and just do an analysis. Take a look at that. How much time are you spending going down rabbit holes? Talk to women all across the country. I have clients in all four corners of the United States right now, and as well as in Middle America. And what happens sometimes is they don't realize that the time just disappears. We're all in this internet era, and while it's great and we have Miss Google at our fingertips where we can find the answer to anything, we're also, as women in particular, very curious. And so then one thing leads to another, and somebody was just going to check email for 10 minutes, and all of a sudden 2.5 hours have gone by and they don't know where it went. And there's no way they can capture it back and pull it back. So I think for anyone listening, the best step is to first analyze, where's your time going? Because once it's gone, it's gone.
That's so true. And I've been in that position before where I've thought about that, that where does this day go, especially lately? Where does this day go? Where do these hours go? And then you think about actually sitting down to write down the time. Then it's like, oh gosh, then I have to write it down. That seems like daunting, but trust me, like from personal experience and what Sue is saying, if you just commit to just a couple of days, like you said, just like 1 or 2 days, just document what you're doing. I think it kind of reminds me of going on a diet and like tracking the food that you're
Oh,
eating, right?
sure.
Like it's just a matter of like being aware of
Yeah,
that. And you're not, it's not punishing yourself. You're not doing anything. It's just being aware, making yourself aware of what's going on. And that will lead you to things that you can start
right.
thinking about and to how you can move forward. So I think that that's super, super powerful. So thank you for sharing with that. Oh, we have Angela here. Angela says, hi, this is an important concept of energy stuckness, which can possibly lead
Yeah.
to depression and lethargy. Yeah, because if you think you're not productive and the days
Mhm.
are just going by, then that's kind of going to perpetuate the
Yeah.
negativity and that feeling of, and not necessarily may not be true, but if you start documenting, you'll really be able to find out the truth in that. So
Right.
it's a really good tip. So thank you for sharing that. So what about you have another story to share? I know that you have lots of successful clients, but wanted you to just
Right.
talk about two of your other clients that was successful.
Sure, sure. As I mentioned, I literally have clients in New York, Florida, Montana, Michigan, North Carolina, state of Washington, Colorado,
Wow.
all over the country right now. And a story I wanted to share was Lynn. And Lynn reached out to me because she was wanting to move out of her home and move somewhere else. And she's at the point where she's considering doing some traveling in an RV and going to get one of those. But in order to do that, she needed to put her home up for sale on the market.
Right.
And she'd
Mm-hmm.
been thinking about this for several years, but thinking and doing are two different things
So
entirely.
different.
And
So
so after she watched my master class, she booked a call with me and we got to talking about what it was she wanted to do with the rest of her life. And she wanted to get out of that house. And so she recognized she couldn't really do it by herself. And so together, we've worked together for, I would say, probably now about 3 or 4 months, and getting her to pack up and exit that home and determine, what it is she wants to take with her in the next chapter of her life. I think of all of us with chapters in our lives. Our life is a book. Our life is a story, and we're in different chapters, and we have different things we need for different chapters. And so I really worked with Lynn to help her identify what did she want to take with her to the next chapter. And so right now she's just about ready to move on, and so excited that she's gotten through the majority of the things in her home, making decisions. And I really work with women to help them make decisions. It's clutter clearing for the most part. I have two coaching programs. One is clutter clearing and one is high performance. But in both of them, we're getting clear on clearing up the mind, because the mind plays so many tricks with us. And it
yeah.
stops us from moving forward. So Lynn is pretty excited about where she is right now in her life. And she just can't wait to get on with the next chapter.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love that. It's funny too, because I know you say you have two different businesses, but in my mind, it seems like they align so well, because I know that, especially right now, all of us are in our houses and we're, looking at all the stuff that we have around, and, like having physical things around that maybe shouldn't be there or that just kind of pile up. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of have the feeling that like that particular dynamic also affects us mentally, right?
Oh,
We see it, and that kind of mindset, it like blocks certain areas of like our mind and maybe even our creativity.
absolutely. Like Angela said before, and Angela's been in my audiences, so I really appreciate her being on here today. And I know she's invested in my first book. So what's great is it's absolutely true. The physical clutter blocks our energy, and Angela talked about that with the comment below. It's an energy blocker, and so it's visual noise. So when we walk into a space that's cluttered, or that where we can't find anything, the easiest thing for us to do is say, later. I'm going
Mhm.
out. I'm going to another room. I'm going to another part of the house. I'm not going to deal with it. And so we look for what can we escape into. And some of us escape into rabbit holes of the internet. Some of us escape into rabbit holes of retail therapy. And some of us escape into retail, into avenues of just kind of anything but that, because it's an energy zapper. And so we
Overwhelming.
feel
Yeah.
exhausted. We feel exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I get that completely. It makes total sense. So Angela's also here saying that you're really good at organizing things, like your idea of a time log, tracking time and activities really helps. So that's awesome. Oh, Mindy's here. Of course, time is super important to have organized. You can do other things in your life, right? You plan things out in advance. It's less that you have to think about and to worry about when it's all done ahead of time and planned. So I really believe in that also. That's super cool. So organization tips. Can you give us like one quick organization tip that we could take away that we could use maybe in our house today somewhere?
Well, sure. I would say number one, plan tonight what you're going to do tomorrow. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer, but a lot of people don't do that. And they wake up the next day and they go, okay, now today I want to do X, Y, and Z. But the day's already started. And if you make that decision the night before, it just kind of gets your reticular activating system just kind of thinking and visualizing how you're going to go through that day tomorrow. And as you're resting that brain, you want it well rested, but you're wanting it to kind of prep. You know, the Girl Scout motto, I was a Girl Scout many decades ago, is be prepared. So if you just decide the night before, if nothing else gets done tomorrow, if I can get these 2 things done or these 3 things done, I'll call it a win of the day. And I think that's what people often forget to do. And so what happens is the day gets very reactive instead of proactive. So we're reacting to everybody else's drama, everybody else's concern, everybody else's email, instead of proactively deciding, if I want tomorrow to be a win, these are the 2 things I want to accomplish at the end of that. Because then when you turn out the light tomorrow night, if you've got just those 2 things done, you can call it a win of the day when the light goes off. But we set ourselves up often for failure when we make a list of 24 things we're going to do tomorrow. And maybe we even make that list that morning. And as we're making that list, more stuff is coming at us from everybody else. And at the end of the day, when we turn out the light, we're beating ourselves up because we only got one thing done on our list, but everybody else got served.
Which goes back to the beginning of what you talked about, of how we're taking care of everything else and not taking care of our own to-do list.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's super powerful. And I know that you have to go, so I want to wrap up here really quickly. It's already 9:50. Time flies when you're having fun.
Maybe some of your listeners would love to be connected, as far as I have a master class that's about 45 minutes they might enjoy, because it gives 5 shifts on how to take back control of your life. And that would be clearyourcluttercoach.com/replay. And it's, it's an in-depth 45-minute webinar, which I think they would find very, very helpful.
Very cool. Yes, definitely. We'll put that in the comments for sure. And I know that you do stay, as a coach, you're going social. So you're active on Facebook. I know you have a Facebook group and do a lot of activity there. So it sounds like that's the best place to find you, right?
Right. Yeah. My business page is Reinventing Your Life, because I think as women, they're always up for some reinvention once they finish different chapters of their life. So look for me there. Yeah,
I agree. Definitely. And look in the comments too, because we're going to add Mindy's link to her Touchstone by Swarovski crystals. You can shop for your mother for Mother's Day coming up right around the corner. So I really appreciate you being here today, you and Mindy. And I'm so excited to be able to share you with my audience and learn all of these awesome tips that you gave us in just the short 20 minutes that you were with us. So I really appreciate you being on today. Thank you so much, Sue. And if you have any questions, please make sure to keep adding them in the comments. We'll come back to them and make sure to get your questions answered. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy, for inviting me. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Have a great day.
You too.